Yeah. Yes. Welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. Tuesday night college football edition. How's everybody doing? Good to have you here. Carlos, what's good, my man?
It was good, man. Crazy weekend of college football, but basketball's back, NBA, live on NBC.
Yes, sir.
Great times here in October.
Yes, great time in sports. Ryan, what's going on, my main man?
Hey man, can't complain, cannot complain. Glad to be here.
Yeah, love it. Glad to see you here. So, everybody, I've got my guys here, Carlos Rios, co-host of the Be Ready Sports Podcast. And in order to be ready, what you got to do, Carlos?
Stay ready.
You got to stay ready. That's right. And my main man, Ryan Langford, former Fighting Illini, NFL and Canadian football wide receiver, kick return specialist, here to give us his expertise like only he can give it.
Absolutely glad to be here.
Yes. We give a shout out to the channel members first and foremost. Of course, we got my guy, Coach T, host of the Be Ready Sports Podcast. What's up, Coach T? How you doing? Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you supporting the show always. And thank you for letting us your guy, Carlos. We appreciate that also. Next up, Chief Sid Bubba. Chief, always thank you so much for what you did for our great nation. And as well, thank you for what you do for the show. We appreciate you. And of course, shout out as always to the boys from Annapolis. Next up, Baltimore Bruce. What's good, Bruce? How you doing, man? Good to see you. It's not that serious. What's good, man? Thank you again for the support as always. King of the chat, Steve Splenda. Good to see you here. And finally, SMT Media Network. Sneed got what you need. Hey, man, always love to you as well, my brother. All right, let's get to it. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. We're going to hit the spiel. Then we're going to come back and dig deep into some college football. Let's go. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast. We should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us a like, leave us a 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. Make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, make a note of it. The Format Podcast is live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And finally, if you're really and truly enjoying the content we're delivering you, make sure you hit that join button. There's going to be exclusive content here just for you. All right, guys. As for the exclusive content, we have got that scheduled and set to drop tomorrow morning, so be on the lookout for that. Transformer and I recorded it this afternoon, so hope you enjoy it. It should be a good one. So yeah, that's set to drop tomorrow morning, so just be aware. All right, let's go. Let's get right to it, man. First of all, what a weekend in college football. Man, we are so blessed this season to have a great freaking season of college football. I'll tell you, this 12-team playoff has made the sport so much better, in my humble opinion, man. I am loving it, and I know some of the purists, some of the old school people, their mentality is that, the regular season has been devalued, and I couldn't disagree more. I think we're seeing a much more excited regular season. I think we're seeing fan bases hanging around longer because it's not one of those situations where, lose one game and you're out of the chance to play for the chip. I love this. You can recover from a tough early start, and I think that's key. Carlos, man, what's your thoughts on that?
What a crazy weekend college football. The crazy weekend starting on Friday night with the Canes. Hey, man.
Ooh.
And I knew they were going to stumble. And it ended up being that Friday night against Louisville. Man, what a performance by Louisville. Jumped off to an early lead. Man, Minnesota beating Nebraska on Friday night. And then obviously all the drama on Saturday. Can't wait to talk about it in our next topic. But yeah, definitely.
Sounds good. Ryan, man, how much did you enjoy this weekend?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the teams that I needed to win won. I guess
Right.
Alabama won. We actually were in Alabama watching it, so that rivalry
Ooh.
is cool to see. And yeah, shout out to Louisville. Beating Miami. That was
Mhm.
interesting.
Very.
Coach Jeff Brom, actually recruited me to FAU, and
Yeah.
then landed to Illinois. So
Hmm.
always been a great coach, always been a great competitor and a leader. So I was
Hmm.
happy to see him pull that out.
Nice, nice. Yep. Well,
Definitely
for
shaking
you,
up the numbers a little bit, but
for
hey,
sure.
if anyone can do it, it's like, man, that's cool. And it's coaches that actually came across my path.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that's got to feel good for you, as like you said, having that personal connection with Coach Brom. So, yeah, shout out to you. Watching that game, I actually thought about that. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My guy Ryan was, had connection to his dude, so that's super cool. Um, well, you guys obviously know it was the highlight of the weekend for me, and I was watching my Irish bully beat down body, you know, destroy, dominate, eviscerate, and annihilate USC, and I, I enjoyed it more than especially knowing that they're trying to run out on this rivalry. It made me feel really good. So
Yeah.
definitely enjoyed that. Yeah, fantastic game overall, good stuff. But yeah, I think some of the bigger stories here um, is that we now have a full-fledged coaching carousel, right? There's open jobs every year in all the major sports, but man, this is getting crazy. And these are some of the major Power Four jobs, as you can see on this thumbnail, that are going to be open once this season is over, right? Arkansas, Va Tech, Oklahoma State, UCLA, Florida, Penn State, and a lot of them, are jobs where the coaches were tenured, right? Obviously, Penn State, James Franklin was there, I think, 11 years. 11 years. Um, Mike Gundy was at Oklahoma State. He was there for 20 years, right? He was
Yeah,
there
for a
for
long
a long
time.
time.
Long
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
those are situations like that. But anyway, these are all major, Power Four programs. And now the question starts. The question you would ask is, okay, with that, who are who are the guys that we would look at possibly to, take over some of these jobs? Because obviously, a Power Four job is a job that most head coaches will want on the collegiate level. So who are the guys we're looking at for some of these jobs? And Ryan, I'd love to start with you on, whichever one you would like to pick, and maybe think about which one, what coach you think they're looking at, or what coach you would like to see there that you think
Yeah.
would be
I
impactful.
I've got to be the worst person when it comes
You know
to
what? You're right.
deciding which coaches can come next.
Mhm,
And I don't know why. Maybe because as a player, I just had to focus on what I needed to do.
mhm,
I never really knew that side of the business of college coaching. Now I think now that these buyouts are coming in where financially it affects a lot of teams on who they can go after. I
mhm.
think that is an interesting piece to remember, but I also believe that anything can happen in this day and age. And Bill Belichick is coaching in college football right now.
Crazy,
Like
crazy, right?
Yeah.
who no one would have called that on their bingo card. You know what I'm saying? So anybody can move around. I'd love to see some big name coaches like Dion land somewhere. Maybe
Mhm.
some more NFL coaches come back. Maybe some younger coaches kind of get a shot and see what happens. Someone that we haven't heard of that can come in and do some stuff and become that next name. So I'm interested to see because these are all great programs to be a part of and teams that could really turn the direction back into the way that they need to be going.
I hear that. Carlos, man, give us a thought about maybe one or two of these teams, uh, which direction you think they might want to go in, and who you think might be a good fit for them come off.
Okay, so let's start with Penn State. Penn State, probably Penn State has like the most valuable, I guess, and I guess you can say out of these Power Four teams. I don't know, maybe because they're in the
Mhm.
Big Ten, they have tradition. So Penn State might go for like a big name, coach, maybe poach, maybe get one of these coaches in the carousel. We'll
Like that.
see, Rhett Lashley. Rhett Lashley,
Like
yeah,
that. That's a good one. I like that, Chief.
yeah, man. Rhett Lashley. He coached at Miami for some time. Then he went to SMU.
Hmm.
He's doing well at SMU.
Very well.
So
Got
yeah,
them to the playoff last year.
yeah,
Hmm.
CFB. Yeah, yeah, and I think they made the ACC championship that year. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's doing really good over at SMU. Yeah, but definitely that Florida job opened up this weekend. A
By
lot of
Billy
names
Napier.
circulating. Probably Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss to go to
I think
Florida.
so. Hmm.
You think he would leave?
Hmm.
If you got a chance to coach Florida from Ole
That's
Miss,
true. That's that.
yes, you
That's the
do.
name. Yeah,
And think about it. He knows how to recruit the state, right? He was
that's
recruiting
true.
well at FAU when
That's
he was
true.
in Florida.
That's
Hmm.
true. That's true.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely Florida, Penn State might get a big time head coach, or they might poach. Like probably, for example, like uh, a Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss probably poach.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Mm.
probably those two.
I think I read this morning that Florida would like to take a big swing at Marcus Freeman. Um, he obviously is one of the hot coaching names, both in the NFL coaching search as well as college football. Heard Penn State is also very interested in him. Don't really see him, wanting to leave Notre Dame, not, just being a Notre Dame fan, but just because he seems to be a really good fit there. He seems to truly love it there. And it's my personal opinion that he doesn't want to leave unless he wins a championship. Then he will, possibly face the new challenge. But I don't see it. But yeah, Florida obviously is a major, major job. It would be interesting to see what name comes about. But I would think that Lane Kiffin would be the main guy they'd be gunning for. Also because the SEC seems to like to hire from within the SEC, right?
Mhm.
And there really is something cultural about being a fit within that conference, right? Like Brian Kelly, very solid coach, been pretty successful everywhere he's been, but it doesn't really it doesn't really work for him in Louisiana, right? He's either going to get fired or they're going to mutually part ways. I don't see it because I don't think they have. I think they could end up with a couple more losses this year, and that's not the place to do it. LSU, right? Their last three head coaches have won national championships. They didn't bring Brian Kelly there, give him all that money and all of this for him to not get the job done and not even win an SEC championship. So, yeah, I don't see it. Um, I like that Rhett Lashley to Arkansas. So here's the thing,
That would
right?
be interesting. How they doing this year though? SMU. What's SMU doing this year? I don't remember.
Um, I think they're
They
pretty good.
they have like two losses, I believe.
Because they were rolling. I feel like.
Yeah, they were, and then at the beginning of the season, the hype kind of died down for SMU.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, yeah. So they're 5-2, Chief.
Oh, there you
Five.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
beat Clemson, but
Yeah,
But that doesn't hold much
it's
weight
not.
anymore.
It's
yeah.
not the same. Doesn't sound the same anymore. Doesn't work the same.
Clemson is not what they used to be. Now that one would be, I think, another bad season next year, and I think Dabo's out of there.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen this year, but he's got one more year to get it figured out. Um,
Hmm.
Gus Malzahn.
No.
Mhm.
Mhm.
If I was Virginia Tech, I'd be gunning for Gus Malzahn. I think that could be a fit. There's so much talent in that Tidewater area, and all those kids, because of like Michael Vick and whatnot, they all grew up wanting to play at Va Tech. I don't know if it's the same that way now. When I lived in that area in the military, that's kind of how it was. Everybody was Virginia Tech, Virginia Tech. So I don't know, but I think Gus Malzahn, with that type of talent in that area and his ability to have a creative, effective running game, I think that would be a really good fit for him.
Yeah.
Let me say this. I'm not the biggest Deion Sanders fan, right? I'm not the big Coach Prime guy.
Mhm.
But any one of these schools, Arkansas, Florida, Penn State, Virginia Tech, any one of them would be failing miserably as a program not to be trying to throw the United States national treasury at Deion Sanders. Buy him out, get him out of Colorado, and get him to their program. Could you imagine Deion in Florida? Could you imagine that?
Mhm.
He's from
Right.
this state.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's crazy. I just think about Dion knows football, right? And you give Dion stronger pieces,
Yeah.
who knows what they can do, right? Because you
Yeah, yeah, no
already see
question.
that he can encourage people, he can
Hmm.
motivate people, he
Hmm.
can bring energy
Right.
to a program that nobody can do.
Hmm.
Now you bring that in and surround him with some pieces that can
Yeah.
play football,
Hmm.
man.
And without having to really do a huge, big job convincing guys to leave the South and go all the way to Colorado,
Right.
like now you have them in their own backyard playing in the SEC, playing in an area that you know, in an area where you played, not Florida, obviously Florida State, but you have all these things coming into play. That would be really good.
And then what's also interesting too that I just thought about, there's definitely got to be a little difference and maybe a little less stress for him now that he's not coaching his sons. Now he coaching his sons amongst just the players that he meets. There's not this, oh my son is a quarterback, my other son is playing defense. Like
So
I
that's an
wonder
interesting.
if that is, he's like, hey, now my sons are afar. I'm all Colorado in a sense.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I actually looked at it the opposite way, almost like he doesn't have them. Like, think about it. This is the first year ever that he's not coached Shadur Sanders at
Right.
quarterback. It's
Right.
almost like he doesn't know what to do without that symbiotic relationship. You know what I mean? Not
That's a
necessarily
good
in a
point.
bad way, but like that
Yep.
connection there was so solid with his son. I'm sure that it was one of those things where they could just look at each other and they knew what to do, right?
Right. Right.
And it's not like that with somebody else who you haven't coached literally since they could walk, right?
Yeah.
It's not like that with somebody who you're discussing concepts at the dinner table. It's not like that with somebody who you're not with. I'm exaggerating here, but every second, and you know him and he knows you, like I was saying, without speaking. So I would think
Yeah.
that it's almost more difficult for him not to be coaching his sons. And the same thing with Shiloh as a DB. And the same thing with the guy who was like a son to him in Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that this is taking a lot of getting used to for him.
Yeah.
And
That's
perhaps
interesting.
it's causing a little bit of difficulty.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that relationship can be built. I think that's what separates great coaches from good coaches. Being able to build those type of father-son relationships, those abilities to trust, those abilities to communicate, those abilities to be
Hmm.
on the level with your players so that they can do what they need to do. Now, of course, there's no way to be like, hey, father, son, this is my
Yeah,
actual father, my
right,
blood
right.
child. But I think the players that can feel as if we're a real deal of family, that helps. That helps on game
Hmm.
day.
Right.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. I guess the question is, he again is not used to having to build that relationship in a short period of time.
Right.
So like that's going to take some getting used to for him as well to say, 2 or 3 years to be able to build this relationship. Whereas to the point you just made, I had a whole lifetime with Shadur.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
But he
just
could
think
take any of these jobs. All in all, that's what we're saying.
agreed,
He
agreed.
could take any of these jobs, and I would
Yeah, no,
love to see. I would love to see him in
mhm,
at a different school. I think we're getting to that point of like, all right, he's kind of turned them around. Hopefully, they can kind of rebuild what they're doing now. But I'd like to
mhm,
see him at one of these schools, or at least, like you said, you go after him.
mhm.
See what it would cost.
Yeah, no, I think you would be criminally negligent as a Power Four program not to shoot your shot, so to speak, because you never know.
You never
Yeah.
know.
He did sign an extension before last season, I believe,
Mm,
or was it before this past season? But he signed a big extension. So who knows? What is it? 5 years, 58 mil, I think it was. So
nice.
we gotta see. Again, not sure what the buyout is, but I would be pretty confident that Florida, Penn State, Virginia Tech, Arkansas, and UCLA. I don't know about OSU. Well, OSU probably too. I mean, T. Boone Pickens and his family, a whole lot of dough. I would be
Mhm.
pretty sure that any one of them could, pay the offset language in his buyout. So,
They tried. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah. But I mean, all these programs, they need to make sure they get this hire correct. One of the things I also read was that Brian Kelly to Penn State could work. But
Mm,
if you're Penn State, why would you hire Brian Kelly? Yeah, it's a better fit because he's a Northeast guy. and he can stop faking like he's from the South, you know, that stupid, you know, I'm here with my family. Great day to be a Tiger. It sounded like
Yeah.
an idiot. But no, in all seriousness, it would be a better fit geographically and culturally, but you're going to get the same thing you got with James Franklin for the most part. You're going to get a guy who has a definitive ceiling, who is not great in coaching and winning the big games and couldn't take you over the top. So, like, why would you do that? You're not getting an improvement. You got rid of James Franklin because you want to make an improvement. So, like, Brian Kelly wouldn't be the fit. I don't know. These are going to be some very interesting situations, and perhaps maybe, you know, these guys, possible coaching candidates, are perhaps guys that we're not thinking about, right? Some lesser known guys, some younger guys. Fran Brown from Syracuse is one. You know, he's got that offense up there humming the last couple of years. Who knows, you know, what that could be. I mean, I just think it's definitely interesting. Maybe you find some lesser known coordinators that are really doing a good job. Who knows what it could be? Who knows? You guys ready to open up the phone lines and take a couple calls on this?
Yeah.
All right, let's get it. All right. 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. Give us a call. Give us your thoughts on the coaching carousel, these big-time Power 4 jobs, who you think might be good fits, who you think these programs should be looking at. We'd love to hear from you. If you can't call in, put it in the chat. Yeah. Oh, great point, Steve. Yes, sir.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing with Florida State, because they just announced it, I believe, on Sunday or Monday, that Mike Norvell is going to stay during the season. He'll stay throughout. So he's going to stay for the rest of the season, and then they're going to reevaluate him during the off season. So
I think he's gone.
same.
He had that one really good year 2 years ago. Last year was absolutely horrible. Started off well this year, but has, you know, slid down since. Auburn, it's very interesting to me that you would fire Hugh Freeze that fast. This is only his second year, but I guess he's been really bad. Wisconsin, Luke Fickell definitely needs to go. See, I think the Wisconsin Brain Trust should have known that Luke Fickell was going to be a bad move out of the gate when he got completely away from what Wisconsin is, when he tried to hire former North Carolina OC Phil Longo, who runs a damn air raid. You don't run an air raid in Wisconsin. You don't do that. That was a terrible. Like, what was he thinking? That was horrible. Format Podcast. What up, Bruce? Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Let me get you connected. Hold on. There we go, Bruce. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, bro. Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yes, sir. My bad. I messed up, and I didn't have you connected to the mixer. What's going on, man?
First of all, what's up, Carlos? What's up, Ryan?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, I gotta say this though before I start.
Whoa!
I don't know what that was. Why do people say
I don't know
like
what that was.
The Tide thing is an elephant. Why do people howl like a wolf when they say wolf?
Howl like a wolf. It's crazy.
No, the real though. I would love to see Dion in Florida because he's a Florida boy. Understand what I'm saying? I think Florida got a big meal package. They got a big meal. There's a big meal program, Florida, right?
A big what?
NIL. That's a big NIL school, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Colorado's not a big NIL school, so probably not going to get the top. I mean, he's getting 5 stars and stuff through the portal and all that pay for other teams that didn't turn out. But he got Travis that 1 year, and he got Kamani. He had back-to-back 5 stars coming out, going to Colorado. You know, but of course, McCarthy, that didn't work out. But I would love to see Rex Ryan, or most definitely I would love to see Prime in Florida. Chip Kelly, he never really showed me anything. I'm never was a Chip Kelly guy. I just think he was kind of over. I don't know. But Florida is perfect for Prime, man. But he already signed that contract with Colorado. I don't think it's going to happen. What other thing? UCLA, that's a California thing. Well, I can say Prime to college. UCLA, that'd be a nice spot for Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Penn State, I think Penn State more of a Rex Ryan move. But like you say, he might not win a coach college. That's about it, man. Who else can we like definitively say that's out there that these schools can get? Except some up and coming assistant coach that you got to go in house. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Coach Prime in Florida would be big. Florida will be loaded if Coach Prime go to Florida. I don't know if that's possible, like I said, because of the Colorado money that he's already signed that contract. And then, people are going to eviscerate him if he leaves Colorado.
So what? So what? He's from Florida. Like, could anybody really get mad at him having the opportunity to go coach in the mighty SEC, quote unquote, and freaking go back home to his home state? Like, nobody could be mad at that.
I got you. But come on now, Prime, they own Colorado. He probably own a piece of that damn town. I mean, on Boulder. If you leave there, he probably got so much equity built in Colorado right now. It'll be hard for him to leave, but I think it's coming. Let's talk about Prime. Prime gonna move on, just like he moved on from Jackson State. He's not staying in Colorado. I don't know how the contract thing works. If you decide to leave there, they terminate it. Will they sue you? I don't know how that goes. They terminate the contract. But he's not staying in Colorado his whole career, Hopefully he'll do well. So, other than that, man, great show. What's going on, my man Carlos? What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Bruce? How you doing?
All right, man, I can't wait for this next topic, man. So I get on these damn Notre Dame Catholic punks. Now, so I can get on these punks who play in the independent conference, who don't pay nobody top. But I'm gonna save that for the next subject. I'll call back. All right.
All right, Bruce.
All right.
Okay.
We'll wait a couple more seconds, see if anybody else wants to call in on this topic. Yeah, that's normally how it happens. You're right, Chief. The coaches get bought out. Basically, if they decide to move on, then they have to. They got to pay some of that money, and what happens is, like Chief said, the boosters or the new school will pay that money. Depends on what the offset language is. So it all normally shakes out. I mean, we see it happen all the time. So, Steve, king of the chat, what's up, my man?
What up, Bruce? What up, Ryan? What up, Carlos?
What's going on?
Yo.
Not much. I just want to get my 2 cents real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting. And I think I put it in the comments. You might have highlighted it. Right now we see Florida and Penn State as the two big brand jobs.
Mm-hmm.
If Florida State was smart, I don't know what they're waiting on. They need to get ahead of this.
Yeah.
You don't want to you don't want to be late to the party when you're competing for these coaches that if you're trying to get your guy,
Mm-hmm.
Florida and Penn State are going to be competition.
That's right.
So, I mean, it's not trying to dig at anything about Florida State, but it's like they just lost on the road to Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to evaluate?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like with the way things are trending, and that's before the Auburn job becomes open, Wisconsin becomes open, already UCLA, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech. It's like if you're Florida State, you see the landscape. I don't understand why you would wait and just drag this out. If I were Florida State, I would just cut bait and start interviewing now. Get ahead of this while Florida and Penn State already made their moves. Because Florida State's an attractive brand. And, this is what I would say. I know you were mentioning Dion. That's the job for Dion. Kiffin is the floor. Florida is going to get Kiffin. We already
I think so.
know.
I don't think
So
you.
it's
I don't think you can turn that down if you're Kiffin.
Yeah, if you're Florida State, you're not getting Kiffin. Go get you Dion. This is the time. Cut bait. Dion wants to be there. Like, it just makes sense. And if you're going to make a splash in recruiting and compete with Miami, who seems like, I know they had a bad Friday night loss, but it's like Miami seems to be relevant again. They're winning 10 games roughly again. Like, Florida is now making a move. Like, if you're Florida State, what do? You just hold on to Norvell and continue this 110 win season and then 4 straight years of 6 wins. It's like, just cut bait, go get Dion. It's like, it'll make a splash in recruiting.
So and
frankly, go ahead.
Let me interrupt you real quick, Steve. I've read somewhere today, I was talking to somebody, the reason that I don't think Florida State is going to hire Coach Prime, apparently, I guess it's part of their whatever at their school that the head coach is supposed to have a degree and he doesn't have one. So I think that.
Are you serious?
I believe that's part of it. I'd bend that rule for him if I'm Florida State.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, man,
get him out now.
You can always figure out something.
Do you really think? Do you think if the boosters, the people who are paying money into the school, if they're all sitting there, it's like, hey, we have a chance to hire Dion. Well, that one guy at the business table went, but he doesn't have a degree. It's like, bro, really? Like, we're really gonna do this? I mean, that might be in the structure of the bylaws, but do I think they're going to hold to that if they have the chance to get Dion? Hell, give him a degree, put him in some classes, and give him one from Florida State.
Yeah.
Get the shit. You know what I mean? Like, get it done. Whatever it takes to get the job done. I just can't. This is how I look at it. Like, I'm not poo-pooing Dion as a coach, but if we're being objective here, he's not recruiting to sustain at a place like Colorado. I think now that his sons are gone and Travis are gone, like, does he really want to be there? Like, I'm not saying he's just doing it just to do it. Like, I'm sure he wants to coach, but does he want to coach at Colorado? Right. I think now that he's not coaching his kids anymore, it's like, what's the next motivation? It's like, go back to your alma mater, bring them back for relevancy. I just think it makes so much sense. Like, do we really see Prime on the sidelines at Happy Valley? Do we really envision that?
I think, but he'd be really good, though.
I don't. I'm not saying it's him. How you were saying earlier, like, with culture and fit, he is Florida State, man. Like, it just makes too much sense. He's gonna kill it in recruiting. Yeah. I'm not saying he can't recruit at Penn State, but
Ohio,
you're competing
New Jersey,
with Michigan and
DMV,
Notre Dame and Ohio State in that region. He doesn't, like, him going to Florida. It's like, everybody knows. Everybody loves Dion there. It's not going to be hard for him to recruit that uber talented state and bring the guys he wants to Florida State. He can do it at Penn State, but it's like, I just don't see him at Penn State. I don't even see him at Florida. I'm not saying it couldn't work, but if Florida State was smart, with everything going on, they need to cut bait with Norvell. He's not the guy. Go get Dion. I see Kiffin going to Florida. The big question I have is, what is Penn State going to do? Because I don't know where they go.
I don't either.
I think that's a big question mark. But anyway, that's what my thought was. Like, Florida State's got to be proactive in this competition because you're going to see even more jobs opening, and that's more competition. So if I were them, go get Dion now. Don't wait.
I agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, if I have time, I'll call back for the next one.
No doubt.
All right.
All right, fellas. Stay blessed.
All right, man.
All right.
All right. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next topic. We are going to go to the Week 8 wrap-up, and oh, what a week it was. Oh, what a week it was. Jeez. Woo! All right, guys. Carlos, I'm going to let you start this off, man. Let's wrap up Week 8 and talk about, obviously, some of the major goings down and the major happenings.
All right. Well, very interesting this weekend,
For sure.
The drama started on Friday night with Louisville getting the win over the Canes. Very great win for Louisville. And I knew Miami was going to stumble, and they stumbled. So
I'm surprised by that.
Really?
I expected them to go through undefeated. And once, after the opener, I'm like, yeah, I think these guys can go undefeated.
Here's what happens with Miami, right? The same thing with last year with Cam Ward. Tried to go undefeated, but they lost to Syracuse, and I believe they lost to
Mhm.
Georgia Tech that same year.
Mhm.
So they ended up having, I believe, 2 losses, I believe, that year. And then they went to a Pop Tarts Bowl against Iowa State, and then ended up losing that one. Yeah, so yeah, so definitely Miami. Definitely losing to Louisville sucks, most definitely.
It
So
sure does.
yeah, well, good for me because I'm a Noel fan. So yeah,
I know. I know.
so yeah. Hey, but Minnesota again, that win over Nebraska 24-6. Very
Mhm.
good win for Minnesota. They're 5-2. They're going to take on Iowa next week, so it's going to be interesting for the Gophers, man. They can beat Iowa on the road.
Mm.
Definitely, Minnesota could be ranked after this week. After this week, most
Mhm.
definitely.
Mhm.
Um,
I was better than I thought this year. I'm like, what's going on there?
yeah. Hey, man, Iowa. A&M survives against Arkansas on the road. Usually that matchup's in Arlington, but they played in Fayetteville this year.
Mhm.
A&M survives 45-42 in a shootout. Um, Georgia Tech survives at Duke 27-18. They
Mhm.
survive at Duke. Michigan, they got the win over Washington, over UW, the big noon kickoff. Um, Georgia, number 9 team in the country. They defeat Ole Miss, the number 5 team in the country. The
Mhm.
Bulldogs, I
That game
believe.
was
Yeah.
So let me interrupt you real quick on this, Carlos. And Ryan, I want your thoughts on this too.
Yes.
So we've been hearing this, I'll call it propaganda for years about how the SEC is the closest thing to the NFL and the SEC is such lights out defense, blah, blah, blah. Where has all that gone? Like you see this Georgia Ole Miss as an absolute 43-35 shootout. That was crazy. That was totally unexpected. Now, we saw Georgia have absolutely elite defenses, one legendary and record setting a few years back, and then obviously winning back-to-back championships. But Georgia's not the same team anymore. Like
Yeah.
they can't lock down the same way they used to be able to, and now they can beat you in a shootout. What are your thoughts on the SEC and us seeing so much more kind of offensive fireworks in that conference? What's the deal there?
I think every year you get a different team, right?
Mhm.
And you have that team for 1 year, and the next year you get a completely different new team. Yeah,
Mhm.
some guys might stay, some guys might leave. You might lose one senior, you might lose a lot of seniors. Everything's different. I think as a whole, the SEC naturally is able to recruit speed, bigger guys, and that's just the brand and the culture of the league. But now recruiting might be leveling out where other programs can bring guys in, and other programs that were the staple schools now got to compete a little bit more because
Mhm.
transfer portal where you could
Yeah.
just stack players and they said no, I don't want to see it, I'm leaving,
Mhm.
and they go somewhere else and they have the ability to play right away. So I think all
Right.
those things kind of add to how things are shifting.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, Carlos. Yeah, let's get back to our rundown.
All right. So that's for Georgia. Alabama gets the win over Tennessee. Man, that pick six at the end of the first half.
That
That
did it.
yeah,
That sealed it.
yeah, but
That took
huge.
that took so much out of them. That
Yeah,
took so much out of them, and they just couldn't. Tennessee couldn't recover.
yeah, man. Tennessee was right there. Could have made it a 1 point a deficit, but man, that pick six. Yep,
Yeah,
did it.
that hurt them.
Arizona State, man, what a win for them. They knock off Texas
Big
Tech.
win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Texas
big
Tech
win.
was looking like the team out of the Big 12. But we can't forget, Carlos, that Arizona State was the Big 12 representative, conference champion, and representative to the college football playoff last year, and
Yeah.
lost in an absolute, knockdown, drag out fight against Texas, where, Cam Scatterboot made his college football legend last year. So
Oh yeah.
um, Arizona State that's a good football team, well coached. Did I expect them to beat Texas Tech in the way they're playing right now? No. But this is the beauty of college football, and I love what's happening with all these high ranked teams kind of cannibalizing each other. But go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Arizona State, they brought back their starting quarterback, Sam Levitt, playing in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech was actually down 19-7 in the fourth quarter.
Mm.
Texas Tech scored 2 touchdowns to take the lead, and then Arizona State went
Right.
down the field and scored in the final
Mm-hmm.
seconds.
Crazy.
So, Yeah, man, crazy ending over there in Arizona State.
Mm-hmm.
Good for that fan base over there in Arizona State. Yeah, so we'll see how Arizona State does. Definitely
Sure.
a huge win. Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia was amazing for Vandy as they knock off LSU.
Shout out Clark Lee, former Notre Dame defensive coordinator. Just an outstanding job coaching his alma mater and getting those guys, to play some of the best football Vanderbilt has ever really played. I think they're now 6-1 and really, in the running in the SEC as an academic school. That is, nobody took Vandy seriously. So shout out to Clark Lee, man, coaching those guys up.
Crazy. Vanderbilt, they're now number 10 in the country. Now
Mm-hmm.
they got Mizzou coming up next. So
Tough game.
yeah, so definitely could be another ranked win for Vandy. We'll
Yeah.
see down the line. Notre Dame. Knock off USC. Man, that running game with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, probably the best running back duo in the country.
Probably.
Oh no! Yes, yeah, most definitely, yes, definitely. Well, probably, yes, most definitely, because Jeremiah Love, his talent is amazing, along with Jadarian Price, who is another good player.
He could start at most schools in the country, Jadarian Price, and he's a second back. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Notre Dame looked good. Knocked off USC. Yeah, Coach Tony was not happy, I guess you can say. All right, moving on. The Holy War, BYU and Utah. What a game that was. BYU gets the dub over Utah. BYU still undefeated, man. They're 7-0.
Rolling.
That's a good team.
Yeah, man. BYU kind of flying under the radar here. They're 7-0 with a big win over Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. They're 7-0. They got to go to Iowa State this weekend. So can they pick up another win? We'll see for BYU. Mizzou going to Auburn. I believe I mentioned this game last week on this show that to look out for that game, and it delivered. Double OT. It went to double OT. Mizzou gets the dub over Auburn.
Eli Drinkowitz is quietly a good coach who might be in the running for that Florida job.
Yeah, most definitely.
And if they call you and you're at Mizzou and you can get to Florida, you gotta take it.
Gotta take it.
Take it.
Most definitely. Let's see here. Virginia survives against Washington State, 22-20.
Carlos, did you mention the Oregon over Rutgers game? And the reason I bring that up, it wasn't the most compelling. Oregon wins 56-10, but
yeah,
really good bounce back after getting beat by Indiana, and then I think they had the bye week. And so you see, but what impressed the hell out of me, Oregon ran for 415 yards in this game.
Damn.
And they threw for 335. Like, Oregon went nuts offensively, but to run the ball for 415, like, y'all know how I feel about running the ball and stopping the run. Like, that is vicious. That's,
physical.
That's the thing. Yeah, exactly. The mentality that I love right there. But yeah, go ahead, Carlos. Sorry.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, my phone's glitching here. I'm trying to scroll and this thing's glitching.
Let me see if we can pick you back up here. Where were we?
Okay, there you go. Okay, I got it. Okay. Texas survives in Kentucky, 16-13 in OT.
You got to shout out. You got to shout out Steve, King of the Chat here, because
what happened?
Arch Manning is bad, and Steve told us at the beginning of the season that Arch Manning was going to be bad, and that's what he is. Clearly, he's not going to be the number 1 overall draft pick.
Oh, no.
Clearly, he's not going to be the Heisman Trophy winner. He's got a long summer of work to do in coming back and proving he can be what they said he could be. And here's the other question. Is he even going to come back to Texas is the question, right? He might have to hit the portal and go somewhere else.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but he'll make his corrections. Like he comes from a family of guys that can play some football.
He just might be the guy that it skipped over though.
Hey, he might be.
All right.
I got
the name, but right now he don't have the game.
Right.
I got to shout out to King of the Chat for that. He told us.
I
Yeah,
got hope he can turn it around.
Okay.
I do. From a
hope.
player's perspective,
Of course.
he'll be in. He'll be in the game. He'll be locking in,
I think we
making
know
the
he's going to put
correction.
the work in, right?
Right.
But he could put all the work in, and sometimes it's just not good enough. So this may be one of those situations. So we'll see. We might have to wait for Marshall Manning. So we'll see.
Marshall.
'Cause, yeah. Peyton's son, he's supposed to be that next one.
Oh shit.
But
Okay.
so was Arch, right? So we'll find
All
out.
right.
Too
All
soon
right.
to tell.
UAB. How about UAB? UAB played with an interim head coach in that game against Memphis, who was the number 22 team in the country. They beat them 31-24. We forgot he struggled his first year at Tennessee, became a Hall of Fame player.
It's true.
Nice.
Chief always
Yeah,
he's the
yeah,
king
he's
of the
always
silver
dropping.
lining. Yeah, he drops the little nuggets. I love it. Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
No,
Um,
he wasn't as bad as Arch. That's true.
my gosh, and yeah, that's it for the top 25. In regards to those games, and then
Hmm.
yeah, some interesting unranked versus unranked matchups. Houston, 31-28 over Arizona. Houston, I believe they're 6-1. I believe they're six
Very
and one.
quietly. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 6-1 quietly. Their
Hmm.
only loss was to Texas Tech.
Hmm.
So yeah, man. So very interesting game. SMU beats Clemson 35-24.
Hmm.
Clemson, they're struggling right now. They're struggling big time.
So here's a funny thing. Let me go ahead and shout this out. Baltimore Bruce, when Maryland started 4-0, I was hearing all this, Maryland that, Malik Washington this, Malik Washington that. And he's gotten very quiet as Maryland has now lost 3 in a row since they started playing real competition. Interesting how that works. I
Oh,
was getting
shoot.
started with Maryland this and Malik Washington that. And so last week he's 23 of 48, 210 yards, one touchdown, one pick. All of a sudden, I don't hear anything about Maryland and Malik Washington anymore. Well, figured I'd just throw that out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because Maryland was undefeated before they played Washington, and
Yup.
UW. And I think in that game, Maryland actually took a 20-0 lead in that game, and then Washington just came back and
Yup.
won that
Yup.
game.
Yup.
Very
That's what
interesting.
happens when you're not good and you don't play anybody. But
It
what are
is
you
what
gonna
it
do?
is. Some group of five talk here. Boise
Hmm.
State 56-31 over UNLV. UNLV
Hmm.
was undefeated going into this game. They pick up their first out over Boise State over there in the Mountain West.
Hmm. So do you
Let's
think USF Carlos is gonna get that nod for the top team in the group of five to make the playoff?
Yes. Yeah, man.
Mm.
South Florida, they're a really good team.
I
Has a
think so
very
too.
tough game this weekend against Memphis, and
Mm,
I think USF got to go to Memphis. So
right.
yes, definitely. Yeah, so definitely, in my opinion, the winner of the American Conference.
Hmm. It's coming out of that game.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, definitely coming. No. Coming out from the conference, going into this college football playoff, definitely.
Right. So
Yeah,
wait a
because
minute. Are you forgetting about Navy though? Isn't Navy still undefeated?
yeah, they are. Yeah, they're sneaking up in there. Navy,
Hmm.
Tulane. Yeah, because Tulane has one loss
Hmm.
to Ole Miss, and plus Tulane beat two Power Five opponents this year in Northwestern and Duke. So Tulane kind of sneaking down in there. South Florida, Memphis. Those are probably the four teams in the running over there in the American Conference. Whoever wins that conference definitely gets a nod to the college football playoff as a Group of Five contender.
Hmm.
Iowa picks up a win over the self-destructed Penn State, 25-24. Hey, Penn State Penn State kind of hung on there, 25-24, but Penn State definitely has a tough row with Ohio State and Indiana coming up. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. How
Tough
about
road.
UCLA now? How about UCLA, man? They knock off Maryland. We talked about Maryland earlier. They're 3-4 now, Bruce.
Hmm.
UCLA, they're 3-4.
They quietly climbing back into something. They're gonna end up playing in a bowl game this year, which no one expected early on.
Yeah, man. I believe they started the year 0-4. They beat Penn
Hmm.
State, and then oh no, all of a sudden they just started clicking, and now
Hmm.
3-4. They take on Indiana this weekend.
That's right.
So a red hot UCLA team against an Indiana team.
That might be the end of the run.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
for real, man. That might be. But then you never know. Like all these teams are getting upset here and there. So, hey, it'd be great for the Irish if that happened. What can we say?
Yeah. And then obviously in late night, 10:30 p.m., my Seminoles lost to Stanford. Obviously,
How does that happen, Carlos? You tell me.
Hey, I feel like that game should not have been close at all.
Agreed.
Yeah.
In my opinion, according to the things that I've heard on social media,
Mm-hmm.
the team has definitely quit on Norvell.
You don't say.
They've quit. Yes, yeah, most definitely. I've heard stories, man. So one story I heard was that an anonymous player in the locker room said that that Norvell is starting to get repetitive, and
I can
pretty
see
much
it.
the players are like cracking jokes about the team responding, I guess you can say, and then on the sidelines of that Stanford game, I believe somebody in the ACC was watching the sidelines of Florida State, and they looked disengaged. They look disengaged, and definitely definitely Norvell's lost the team, in my opinion, and he should be gone as soon as possible.
So Chief Notre Dame has a bye this week, and I think they follow up out of the break. Steve, help me out here. I think they play Navy probably in about 3 weeks.
Yeah. Down the line, they play Navy.
There you go. So BC's next. Damn, I hate BC.
Lost
I've hated them for so long. Jeez, I hated them since '93. But anyway, yeah, there you go. So there's some time, and Navy's not beating Notre Dame, Chief. Don't come on, man. You can dream. But I tell you what. Let me ask you this, Ryan, from a player perspective, man.
Yeah.
How does it happen when a team that should be severely overmatched pulls off an upset like Stanford beating Florida State? How does that happen?
You still got to show up and play every single game. Anybody can be beat at any time, right? You got to go out there and handle business. And if you don't go out and handle business, you will get embarrassed. Preparation is key. You can try to not really think about a game or really not take practice serious and not really go over reading schemes and understanding that stuff. And then the game happens and you get exposed.
Right.
With the ability of players and talent and coaching and technology and just different type of things, got what guys doing in the off season, everybody is a good player. So if you don't know what you're doing out there, you have a potential to get embarrassed and lose the game.
And I guess that's precisely what happened to the Noles, man. That's tough. And like you said, it can happen to anyone. Happened in Notre Dame last year. It really can happen to anyone. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And the team that's not supposed to win is always, not always, but if they get any glimmer of hope, if you give someone who's not supposed to win any glimmer of hope,
Right.
they can capitalize on that. It takes one play to get the energy going, and it's over.
There you go. Man, that's whew. So man, they had some really great games this past weekend, as Carlos ran down for you in week 8, man. And this is what makes college football great. I would not have expected to see Texas Tech lose that game. I really was surprised by that. Ole Miss and Georgia. I figured Georgia would win, but for a while there, I thought Ole Miss was going to pull it off because I was like, oh, okay. No doubt, Coach. No doubt, Steve. No doubt. But yeah, this is Texas A&M barely escaped against Arkansas. Like these are some tough ones, man. These are some tough ones. Ohio State just keeps rolling along, don't they?
Yeah.
I think they are clearly the class of college football.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's beating them this year. I would be shocked to see anybody beat Ohio State this year. And it's not, obviously they've got a lot of talent on offense. That defense is insane though. I think that's what really, obviously they've got a ton of talent, and then being coached with an NFL scheme by Matt Patricia. Real tough. Man.
They're loaded. Every aspect. I mean, they're a good team.
Ohio State is crazy. Whew, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll take two calls on this, quick 2-minute calls. 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. 2 minutes, guys. If you're going to call in, take 2 minutes. And I would just kind of like to hear which games from week 8 really had you intrigued or which games you enjoy the most. I have an idea which game was Steve's favorite. Steve says wasn't shocked by Tech. It's the Big 12, and it's basically past the hot potato there. I knew Ole Miss would Ole Miss. Georgia and Ole Miss defenses are mid. Yeah, definitely mid. What's going on, Coach T?
What's going on, Bruce? What's going on, Carlos? What's going on to the GOAT, Mr. Ryan Langford, man? Always a pleasure to see you, man, on these Tuesday shows.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.
What you got, Coach T?
My favorite game was
I know what your favorite game was.
the USC Notre Dame.
As it should have been.
Even though we lost, it was an exciting game. It was on the edge of my seat. I was on the edge of my seat. I missed the USC bashing earlier.
There was no USC.
So I know. Bruce came in the show talking about USC soft. We ran for 300 yards on that cupcake defense.
Believe it or not, I did not. I got that out of the way the other day. That's good. Everyone who knows college football or who saw that game knows that already, so I didn't need to repeat it.
Here we go. I watched that game from start to finish.
Right.
I want to ask Mr. Ryan Langford the opinion on Maavia. Do you think he's an NFL type quarterback, or do you think he needs another year of development?
And who did you say I missed? Which quarterback?
USC's quarterback.
Oh, do I think he's
his name?
Yeah, do I think if he's ready to go now? What year is he?
He's a junior.
Second.
That's right. I have not watched him that closely. I think what's so different is the NFL game is changing a bit. And I think that teams are starting to change the way that they play. And I'm interested to see how these younger quarterbacks can make it into the NFL and translate. So I think it's not always the best decision to jump out and say, hey, I'm going to go out into the NFL, because sometimes some guys aren't ready. And I think it's okay to sit back and say, man, like maybe I do want to sit and take my time. So I really don't know which direction he will go. But I hope that if people are telling him to go and he feels, hey, man, I want to work on something, maybe his agent can get him in a program or a team that has a quarterback that he can sit behind and he can really learn. Because I think that is something useful, too, when it comes to guys that are trying to land in the NFL. So that's probably my best answer, because I haven't analyzed his game too closely. But I will start now, and then I'll be able to give you a more concrete answer.
Well, the king of the chat thinks he is. I'm still on the fence, because in the course of the game, yes, he looks like an NFL ready quarterback. When it comes down to the fourth quarter, especially like Bruce will say in the Notre Dame game, this year and last year, even at the closing of that Michigan game, the Illinois game, costly mistakes in the clutch, errant throws that shouldn't be made, and Lincoln Riley making retarded play calls. Two. I'm on the Ryan. I'm always on the mindset. I'm a Laker fan, so I'm always on the mindset of winning.
Yep.
I'm like, are you going to be the best option to win? Right now, I don't see him leading an NFL team and winning.
Right.
Winning right now. I just feel like his decision making in the clutch is like Trent Dilferish.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's like he goes from being an assassin to Arch Manning
Mm. Mm.
when it comes to the clutch.
yikes.
That pressure does something to you. It's serious.
Yeah, I just think he stays composed, but under pressure, when that heat comes on,
Right.
it's like he's not reading the coverages correctly. He's making errant throws to try to get it out. When he's pressured, he makes terrible decisions. Like when the pocket was collapsing at the end, he got sacked a couple times, and one time then he rolled out and made a. Steve said, "Well, he was trying to make a play, but he had a wide open man in the flat that was easily going to walk and get a first down."
Yeah.
But he made that heave to try to get it all in one play, and threw an interception that actually sealed the game instead of, as you know, your coaches always teach you, live for the next down. Right. Don't try to get everything on one play. Right. And he made that errant throw to try to get everything on one play. Steve's going to disagree with me. He thinks, he thinks he's going to be a great quarterback. He may will, but I just think more development.
Fair enough. Coach T, we got to leave you there, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the call, brother.
I was going to say, Ohio State is clearly the best team, like I've been saying, best team in football.
Far and away.
And you guys can fact check me. I think I heard that they haven't gave up a touchdown.
No, I think they've given up two. Given up two all year. But yeah, they're crazy.
That defense is retarded.
Yeah.
Good retarded.
Yeah, we gotta look and see. Where their defense stacks up in terms of points allowed versus Georgia from 3 years ago, because that was supposed to be pretty much the gold standard in terms of modern football of great defense. But we'll look into that. Yeah, I'm gonna let you go, man. We're gonna get on to this next topic. Thanks for the call, brother.
Thanks for the call, man.
All right.
Always.
All right, Bruce.
All right, later. Coach T with a good one.
Always.
Let's check these. King in the chat, what's up?
You ain't moving on just yet. I get my 2 minutes.
All right. Let's go.
2 minutes.
The best game of the week was our Irish physically dominating Southern Cal. It was the best game of the week. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Now, I have to give context.
Yes.
USC is good. They're very good. And I will be honest. And I even think I texted Coach during the game. If that's a dry game, you're not seeing that game outcome the way it is. I think it's even a much closer game. Now, we were physically dominating at the line, but I don't know with a dry ball if we're holding up on the back end as well as we did. Leonard Moore did a good job on his matchup.
He did a great job.
He did a great job. But with a dry field and a dry ball, do I think that quarterback could put 30 on us on a dry field? I very much think he could.
Steve, stop. I'm not going for that. No. Rain is part of the conditions of football. Ryan will tell you this. You got to learn to play in the conditions, man. I'm not going for that.
Hold on. I'm not making an excuse, but I've seen that quarterback all year throw for 300 yards and put up over 30 points a game. What I'm saying is, I don't think USC defense, because we both agree, controlling the line of scrimmage is how we won that game. And even on a dry field, that happened. But what I'm also saying is, give that talented quarterback and that receiver core a dry field and a dry ball. I would not be surprised to see them put up their 30 points a game that they've shown me they do.
Okay, but I think that's
a fair observation.
I don't know that it is, because remember what I was telling you while we were watching the game, how when you can consistently punch a team in the face, you're going to break them, right? And it didn't happen as early as I thought, but eventually we did. And on top of that, what we also got to remember here, Steve, dry ball, wet ball, whatever, we still missed a field goal. We missed an extra point. We being Notre Dame.
I'm not saying anything on our report. I agree with you, Bruce. Okay. I still think we would, if on a dry field, we'd probably put up 50.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is that quarterback, a lot of those mishaps, like which coach was pressing on him saying like he didn't look as good as I was making him out to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just emphasizing Ryan has played. I'm going to defer to Ryan.
Right.
Ryan,
fair enough.
When you're playing in a downpour, does it benefit the team that throws the ball 35 times a game, or does it benefit the team that runs the ball like Notre Dame does? It benefits the running team.
Absolutely. It's a lot easier to run the ball. It's harder to throw the ball for both teams.
It's hard. And I agree. And I think that was I think if C.J. Carr had a dry ball on a dry field, he would have looked a lot better. I'm not saying it determined the outcome of the game. I'm saying from an individual perspective, for an individual prospect, that quarterback from USC is good.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good.
He is.
And I think throwing the ball, and this is where I will agree with Coach. Their offensive coordinator on some of those play calls and short yardage was beyond me. It was like Denbrock stuff. I was like, what is this guy doing? Don't get me started on Denbrock.
Please
but the best game of the week was Notre Dame physically punching USC around for 4 quarters, but context. So why I sound like I was being all kind to the quarterback was when I was talking with Coach. I do think that kid is a first-round quarterback.
I think so too.
That kid's got he's got the size. He can spin it. And you have to think, even with a downpour, he threw for 300 yards on us.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got to give the kid a little bit of slack here. It's like, man, some bad offensive coordinating. Sure, he had the late throw over the middle where Christian Gray picked him. The last interception, I don't really hold it. You're down 10. You're trying to score with, 2 3 minutes left. You chuck it downfield. I don't really hold. He's trying to make a play, but I do see that kid. He will be a first round pick as long as he stays healthy. That kid's going to be good. I honestly think he's better than Caleb.
I think he can't make all the wild plays that Caleb can make, but because of the wild playability, I was about to say Sark. Lincoln Riley allowed Caleb to get out of
right.
Get off schedule so many times, and that doesn't play out well in the NFL. But
go ahead. Ball spinning,
yeah.
That kid's special. But anyway, go ahead. I don't want to take up any more time. I appreciate you taking my second call.
No doubt, man. All good. Appreciate you, King of the Chat.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. By the way, that Ohio State defense through 7 games is allowing 5.85 points per game. That is scary.
Scary. Yep.
Very.
Can't win if you can't score.
All right, guys. We will go to the next topic, and that is the new AP Top 25. So let's get there. Matter of fact, let's give me a second. I'll pull that up, and I will share the screen so we can take a look at that together. And we'll do what we do, where we go through the top 25. Kind of see where guys are ranked, see what we feel about it, see if we feel like anybody is ranked improperly, whether low or high, and see what we've got. All right. Share screen. College football rankings. Okay, guys, let's take a look here. All right, so we'll start from 25. So let's go from 25 to 20. Anyone have any issues with this? Michigan, Arizona State, Illinois, Texas, Cincinnati, and LSU.
Yeah, for number 23. No offense to your team, Ryan. For Illinois, but how did they become ranked if they didn't even play a game this week?
Carlos, that can a lot of times happen based on who loses and wins above them, right? So if they're unranked and you have teams that are losing above them, maybe some teams that drop out, like USC dropped out, and you have other teams that drop down, it can raise you up and you can get a benefit even if you didn't play that week. So I think that's kind of what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. A team that should be ranked, since Memphis was ranked as 6-0, beating a Power 5 team like Arkansas,
Right.
Tulane. Tulane right now, I believe that
Mhm.
one loss. That one loss is to Ole Miss, who currently I believe is a top 10 team right now, and then
Yeah.
they have 2 Power 5 wins over Northwestern and Duke. So, and plus Tulane got a win this weekend over Army. So, yes, yeah, yes, that's my opinion. I believe Tulane should be ranked, instead of Illinois, but definitely, if Illinois can handle business against Washington this weekend, they can definitely be ranked. And
That's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
yeah,
Washington.
At Washington too.
yeah,
Tough game.
UW, yeah.
Mhm.
It's loud
All
up
right.
there.
But
Good
yeah, we're
call
good with
there.
everything.
Ryan, were you good with 25 through 20 there?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I mean, I would love to see Illinois up more,
Mhm.
but I mean, like I said, they didn't play a game. Other team, that's when you're relying on other people for
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you. So Illinois
Yeah.
needs to just win out
Yeah.
and see
For
what
sure.
and see what other people and let other people do whatever they do. Control we
Right.
control.
Right.
But at least we're in there, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So 22, we'll go 20 to 10, the next 10. This is interesting. Texas Tech is still a really good team, even though they took a very surprising loss. But then again, you ask, is it really surprising being that Arkansas and Arizona State was what they were last year? They are the
I didn't
defending
think they were
conference
going to drop
champion.
that much. I didn't think Texas Tech was going to drop that much.
Mm-hmm.
But they got to bounce. They got to bounce back. That's they got to. I
Yeah.
think they got Oklahoma State this week, and that's a
Mhm.
winnable game. I think.
Yeah, agreed. But Arizona State was unranked when they beat Texas Tech, right?
Yeah.
That's why they dropped so far. When you lose to an
True.
unranked team, it messes with you a lot. What was Texas Tech 5, and they get beat by an unranked team, so they got to pay for that. One would assume. Yeah. Tennessee takes the L to Bama, which hey, I'm cool with. That's if they kind of stay around where they are and there's not too much chaos above them, that's minus one less SEC team we have to hear about come college football playoff time. Because as usual, they're going to try to stack the playoff with SEC squads, but we'll deal with that when we get there. But I'm good with Tennessee right there. USF still within striking distance, but regardless, even if they're not one of the top 12, they'll be the top ranked group of 5 team theoretically. So that's really, if you're a group of 5 team, all you want is a chance to get in and try to compete. And who could be mad with that? Except for the fact that what'll they probably end up going against one of the top seeds, right?
Who would?
USF.
Yeah.
That's the tough
because
part.
they're one of the later ones in. I feel like
Yeah.
higher seed, lower seed. What is it?
Mhm.
Higher because it's a higher number, so higher seed.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mizzou, another good football team. Good football team.
Good
And
football team.
Carlos talked about they have a nice little challenge coming up this
I like
weekend.
their game. They're a physical, fast team.
Mhm.
I feel like.
And they're starting to send some guys into the league as well. So
Mhm.
it's a good program. But they may lose their coach at the end of this year. We'll find out. He may end up somewhere else getting paid a lot more money. Oklahoma, one of the best defenses in the country. I'm still shocked that they got beaten by Texas the way they did.
Yeah.
But again, that's a team as well within striking distance, sitting at number 13 right now. Could easily, depending on what happens above them, end up in that top 12. So, being one of those teams. But I guess we got to remember, too, we haven't yet seen the college football playoff ranking. Right now, we're just estimating going off the AP rankings.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go. Notre Dame at 12. I saw a comment in the chat. Notre Dame being at 12 with 2 losses is a joke. I'll let one of you fellas handle that. I'm not going to speak on it. What do you guys think about that?
Pretty interesting because with Notre Dame, their only losses was to Miami, who's a current
Mhm.
9 team in the country, and Texas A&M, who is a current number 3 team in the country, which is
Mhm.
crazy. They're 7-0 undefeated,
Right.
So
Right. Combined 4 points. I'll just add that part.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, man, they're at 12. And plus Notre Dame doesn't play any ranked opponents next, so
Navy may be ranked by the time we play them, so we'll see.
maybe you have Navy
Mhm.
keeps on winning, they'll definitely be a top 25 team for sure. But yeah, man.
But see, also here's the other part of it, right? I get strength of schedule and all that, right? All that stuff is important. What happened to the eye test about, when you look at them, who those top 12 teams are? Is anyone really gonna honestly tell me that if they watch Notre Dame play, that Notre Dame isn't one of the top 12 teams in the country? Honestly, take me out of it. What do you guys think? I'm curious to know.
If Notre Dame went up against any of the top 12, you're saying?
Well, if they're just one of the top 12 teams in the country. But yeah, you can look at it that way. Can they
Yeah, I
not play
mean,
with any of the top 12 teams in the country?
yeah, I think they can. I think they can play with most of the teams up there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I think, like you said, they take into consideration schedule, strength of schedule,
You have to.
Yeah.
and then also, I don't know. Notre Dame sometimes gets a slight pass, but the teams that they lost and the teams that they lost to are good football teams, or the teams that they beat are good teams. So it's I'm glad I'm not on the committee.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not on the committee, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of people within the country that are like, Notre Dame does not need to be where Notre Dame is at.
That's fine. I guess, Notre Dame just has to do what they have to do what they have to do to prove it. And I find it interesting that people always talk about Notre Dame can't play with this team, Notre Dame can't play with that team. And last year they're in the national championship game. And on top of that, they beat the SEC champion. But I still hear people saying this nonsense about Notre Dame can't compete with the SEC. Amazing how that works. Anyway. Moving right along. Let's see. By the way, Notre Dame has arguably the best defender in the country and the best offensive player, non-quarterback in the country. How does that work for a team that's so sorry and a team that has no talent and a team that sucks and all this other false narrative? How does that work? Best non-quarterback offensive player and the best defender in the country. Somebody want to help me out here?
I mean, I think Notre Dame has always had a few good players. They've had good players, right? It's just in those moments, can they win the big game,
right?
But I would love to see them in a conference. I just don't know where you put them, how you put them, where, like,
every Power Four conference wants them, but if you're Notre Dame, why would you?
Yeah,
like realistically, why would you? If I'm in the Big Ten, right? Well, if I'm in a conference period and I go into the playoff, whatever money I make, I gotta share it with the rest of the conference. If I am Notre Dame and I go into a conference, I might have to give up my Notre Dame specific TV deal with NBC and Peacock.
That's true.
Explain to me why I would want to do any of those things. And if we're honest, it's actually harder for Notre Dame to make the college football playoff because they don't get the benefit of being a conference champion. So like all this nonsense, we got to stop. It's just disingenuous. So again, if I'm Notre Dame, I have it harder to try and win a national championship, but I also have some advantages. So again, why would I give up any of those? Like, it's just, it makes no sense.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's what it's just disingenuous. Like I've dealt with all the Notre Dame lies and the slander for years and years, and it's absurd. Exactly, Coach T. Notre Dame would lose a lot of money going into a conference. Nobody in their right mind wants to lose tens of millions of dollars. Notre Dame made $23 million off its football program in the college football playoff last year. If they were in a conference, they'd have to split all that money. Being independent, they get to keep it all. Who in their right mind would willingly give that away? Come on, man. We gotta stop the nonsense.
True.
You know, people just want to talk, but they don't know what they're talking about. It's like I had some clown in my comments on a show that I did about Notre Dame on YouTube, and he's saying this foolishness about, oh, Notre Dame is just greedy, and it's the same typical, why aren't they in a conference, and the Big Ten doesn't need Notre Dame. And I'm like, well, every few years the Big Ten comes back asking for Notre Dame to join the conference. And if we're honest, the real reason that Notre Dame isn't in a conference is because of the Big Ten. It's because of Michigan and Fielding Yost. So, like, people don't know what they're talking about and they just say stuff. It's ridiculous, it's absurd. It's absurd. Bruce, let's keep this simple. Let's keep this simple. You can say they're not relevant all you want to, but at the end of the day, every time Notre Dame plays on TV, especially if they play a primetime game, it's a top 10 most watched game in college football that season. There's no question about it. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. All right? Do your research, bro. Keep it that simple. All right? It's that simple. All right. Let's go ahead and let's finish this up. I'm sorry, I just got a funny message. All right, let's where were we? Okay, so let's finish up in the top 10 here. Now this is one I like. Carlos, Vandy. We mentioned them earlier, man. And again, shout out to Coach Clark Lee. That is a good football team. Physical, disciplined, control both lines of scrimmage. Really good. I like them in the top 10. Miami, really good. I don't know if they should have fallen as far as 9th, but you lose to an unranked team, like we said earlier, that's going to drop you down. So that's tough. Yeah. Ole Miss, I guess them, basically swapping with Georgia. I think they were 5th and Georgia was 9th last week. So I get it. Oregon, really good football team, but I'm not much of a believer in them. I feel like if they get to the conference title game, I think Ohio State will smack them around. So we got to see what Indiana does. Georgia looking good. Bama looking good. Texas A&M. They got some tough ones to finish out the year, but they're good as well. They're good as well. Really good team. Obviously beat my Irish at South Bend, so really big win for them. But Texas A&M is playing great ball. But again, they really escaped with one this past weekend also. But sometimes you need those, right? You need close wins. You need blowouts. You need to win. And Ryan, to tell you this, you need to be able to win every type of way possible, correct?
Yeah. Find a way to win.
That's right. That's right. So tell me, Ryan, again, from a player's perspective, how different does it feel when you blow somebody out versus scraping out a win in a tough game? One kind of means more to you.
Yeah, well, those blowout games are always enjoyable. It's a win. You can kind of turn your mind off a little bit during the game. Trying to see if you can get the younger guys to play. You love to get in the position where your coach is like, all right, you guys can sit. Right. That's what you try to dream for, those type of games where you're sitting by the second half. You got the hat on, shoulder pads are off. The young guys are playing. But that doesn't happen all the time. But it's just good to get a win. Right. And then sometimes those hard fought games are just as enjoyable because you worked for it. And it comes down to, the game planning, and there is your natural competitor instinct that comes out. That's like, okay, I got to be the guy to make the play, or we got to be the team to make it happen. So I think a win is always good. But the ones that you can kind of sneak out sometimes, those are that much more enjoyable.
Got you.
And then nothing's more enjoyable than going on the road and just shutting the whole stadium down, getting the win, getting on your flight and flying back home. You get that impersonation, or you get that thought process of like, hey, we're going into enemy territory. Everyone's against us. We're going to go in there and make that place our home, beat up on their guys, and get on the bus and go home and celebrate with our people. Like that's what you feel. You want to feel that.
Got you. So interesting. I want to just mention something here, respond to something else in the chat. Give me 1 second. I'm looking something up, so I want to make sure I got this right. So I hear Bruce saying it's been 40 years since Notre Dame has won a championship, right? And there's no question about that. That's irrefutable, right? So he's using that to denigrate Notre Dame, and that's fine. I hear this same nonsensical argument all the time, but here we go again. Let me crush another stupid statement, okay? So it's Notre Dame's been 40 years since they won a championship, so apparently that makes them no good or whatever it is. Cool. Why didn't I hear that when Georgia went 40 years between national championships, 1980 to 2021? Why didn't I hear that from anyone? Somebody help me out here. I'm waiting. Penn State, 39 years since they've won a national championship, right? Penn State, 39 years since they won a national championship. Why do I not hear this about Penn State? See, everybody got something to say about the Irish, but when it's other teams in the same situation, everybody's quiet. It's crickets. Why is that? The blatant hypocrisy, right? But see,
Yeah, I guess.
okay, we're gonna do it. You know, Notre Dame is gonna do what they do. I mean, no, but you're missing the point, Bruce, because I know you weren't kicking this same BS when Georgia went 4 freaking decades between winning chips. I know you weren't kicking that. Okay, so you know, just hold that. But for whatever reason, it's always a problem when it's the Irish. But that's cool though. We'll wait. It's all good because it's gonna be even more sweet when we get to that mountaintop. It's crazy. All right. So we have gotten to the top here. I think it's clear who the best team in college football is. We mentioned it. Indiana's playing really well. It's going to be a heck of a game against Ohio State. Looking to see that. Yeah. I think are we good, guys, with the top 25 kind of as they are?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's maybe a couple of little adjustments we can make here and there, but overall, we satisfied with it?
Yep.
Yeah, man. So one little observation here for the top 25. Did you know that every spot from 2 to 25 changed except that number 1 with Ohio State? From 2 all the way down to 25, all changed except that number 1 team with Ohio State. That tells you we had a crazy weekend. That tells you we had a crazy weekend. So yeah, just one little observation there.
That's good.
That is good, Carlos. Appreciate that. Yep. Ooh, man. Ohio State. Who's beating these guys? This is really tough. Really tough. Great point. Steve, it's the blatant hypocrisy. That's all it is. It's the same anti-Notre Dame rhetoric over and over and over. It's it's not gonna change. It's all good. Where were we here? Hold on a second, guys. And bang. All right. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to open up the phone lines, take a couple quick calls. Seriously, guys, 2 minutes, and then we'll get to the last topic, 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. All right. Coach T, what up, man?
What up, Bruce?
Maintaining.
Why you let Bruce get under your skin, man?
You know what? It's not even Bruce. Real talk. It's for years as a Notre Dame fan, you got to hear this nonsense, and I'll tell you, it really does get annoying. And like you and me go at it. Obviously, we're rivals in everything, it seems. But you get annoyed with it. It would be one thing if like people said what they said, but they had the requisite knowledge, or they were telling truths and not just making stuff up, or if they were being consistent. And like I said, and I've been saying this for years, you weren't hearing anything when Georgia was going 4 decades without a championship. You weren't hearing a word. You know what I'm saying? But now all this is noted. Yeah, go ahead.
This is coming from a USC fan. I'm gonna shut Bruce. I'm gonna shut Brucey real down. He's talking about Alabama's America's team, which is false.
Oh, we know that's
Notre Dame is America's team. Since the early 1900s, the very first rivalry was Notre Dame USC.
Yes, that's correct.
Notre Dame has been prime time since the 1900s. when they went, they played overseas, I think, a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, they played
They
in
played in
Ireland.
Ireland.
Ireland, yep.
That was the highest viewed game that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The stadium was packed with Notre Dame fans.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even remember who they were playing because it was majority Notre Dame fans.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, every primetime game that they have, their views for their game it's always been top 5 every weekend.
Right.
That they're playing. Even when they're playing the Cupcake on their network, it's still top 5 over Alabama, LSU, Alabama, Auburn, all those other games.
Right.
People that hate Notre Dame want to watch them just to see them because they want them to lose.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
The biggest rivalry in college football has Notre Dame in it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is coming from a USC guy.
Right. Well, you're the other half of it, so like I get it. It's Lakers Celtics of college football.
They have the highest grossing football program in the nation. I believe they've been number 1 for the last decade as far as revenue.
I can see it.
So that's what I would not put in the stat in because he's a LeBron fan, so he's all about stats. So the numbers don't lie.
Yeah,
Notre
but
Dame
LeBron fans
program,
only care about stats when it benefits them.
No, but I'm just saying the numbers speak for themselves.
Right.
They are America's team, Notre Dame. When Notre Dame shows up, they shut the city down. When Notre Dame shows, just look down at the Hard Rock when they came down here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. You couldn't get down there.
Right.
It wasn't. It's not like that when It's not like that when Florida comes. It's not like that. I'm sorry, Carlos, but it's not like that when Florida State gets down here.
Oh my God!
Notre Dame came. It shut Miami down. They are America's. They are America's team. It's not Alabama.
There you go.
But I just had to set Brucey straight.
I appreciate that, man.
Because I hate Notre Dame, but I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Yeah, and I feel the same about USC.
I'm not gonna lie and say that they not one of the top programs or the top program in the nation when they are. The only thing that I do not like about the top 25 is how is Michigan ranked above us?
That's fair.
When we beat them soundly at home.
That's fair.
We lost to Notre Dame and we dropped out the top 25. But I can't remember who they beat this weekend, but they're in it and we beat them. So the head-to-head matchups don't matter.
You know what? That's weird because
no. It's at the bottom of the top 25. I know it's not a big deal because it's not in the top 10.
No, it still matters. No, it still matters. But, they beat Washington.
Yeah.
But we're both 5-2. Both of our losses were ranked opponents that were top 20 when we lost to them. When we lost to Illinois, they were 12, 13?
Now 20.
And Notre Dame last week was 13. Yeah, 13 is not our number.
It doesn't appear that way.
But we have 2 losses to ranked opponents in the top 15. So they beat an unranked opponent. But they're that's the only problem I have. Like they're 25, but we drop out and we beat them soundly at home. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
what are y'all thoughts on that?
No, I think you're right. I think that you have a fair case on that, just based on obviously the head-to-head matchups have to matter. And this is the problem I have kind of with, and this is even going back to the 14 playoff, is that the committee will never release their criteria because they don't want to be held to account on how they make their choices. Because one of the things they said from the very, very beginning of the 14 playoffs are that head-to-head matchups were the most important tiebreaker. Those were the deciding factors, but they only seem to matter when they want them to matter. So you're absolutely right. If, you guys are both 5-2, you're both in the same conference, and you guys smack them around head-to-head, there's no excuse for them being ranked and you not. Plain and simple. I'm with you 1,000%, Coach T.
Yeah, and it's not like we lost to a cupcake. Both our losses were to ranked opponents.
Right.
We lost to Illinois, and it wasn't a blowout. It was a shootout.
It was a shootout.
And we lost to Notre Dame in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And Michigan's losses have been bad losses.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So that's the only problem I have. They shouldn't be ranked ahead of us. That's not me being biased to USC. I would say that.
No, you're right though. You're right. You're not being biased. You're right. So
that's the only thing. And Carlos is right. It's like it doesn't matter the shuffling. It's like Ohio State because somebody smacked them around. Clearly the best team.
No doubt. Coach T, let me go ahead and get this other call, man. I appreciate you calling in. Let me get Baltimore Brucey.
If it's Brucey, man, let it ring. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, brother. Bruce, what up?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
All right.
Hello?
I ain't mean to get under your skin, man. You keep calling me stupid and dumb, but I'm dropping nothing but facts.
No, it's not about calling you stupid and dumb. It's about you being disingenuous. It's about you being incomplete. And it's about you saying stuff while being inconsistent. Because I know you didn't say anything like this when Georgia went 40 years without a chip.
But Georgia has been winning lately.
I'm not talking about that. I'm asking, okay, let me ask you plain and simple. Were you talking about Georgia not winning when they went 40 years between championships? That's yes or no. That's too easy.
You know what? I wasn't a Georgia guy, and Georgia is not.
You're not a Notre Dame guy. Answer the question, bro. Yes or no? Did you talk like this?
No, I haven't, but still, I'm just saying, y'all, it's not like that.
No, I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you that. I don't care nothing about that. I didn't ask you that. I'm asking you. Man. No, I'm asking you. Simple yes or no. Did you talk like that about Georgia when they went 40 years between championships? That's all I'm asking you.
No, I did not.
Then why are you talking that way about Notre Dame?
Because they put y'all on the
Because you're disingenuous.
What's up? What you want?
Go ahead, man.
All right, hold on. Yeah, because y'all not like that.
Okay, you got it.
Y'all not like that, bro. Y'all pay the soft schedule. Understand what I'm saying? Pay with the soft schedule, bro.
No, I don't understand what you're saying, but go ahead.
Y'all pay with a soft schedule, bro.
So all that soft schedule, and we beat the SEC champion in the college football playoff.
And who was that last year?
Go ahead.
Who was that? Texas?
That was
Texas
Georgia.
Last year, right?
That was Georgia.
Georgia ain't had no quarterback back then. They ain't had nobody. They ain't Carson Beck and the other guy, Gunnar Stockton.
You see how they
do? He wasn't that guy last year.
You see how they do, right, Ryan? Carlos, you see how they do, right? Bro. Always an excuse of why Notre Dame can't get credit for what they did.
Bro, y'all haven't won anything in 30 years, bro.
You're the same. Okay, right. And you just admitted you didn't say the same thing about Georgia, so I don't want to hear that. Go ahead, though.
They didn't win nothing in 30 years.
What you got on the topic, fam? What you got on the topic?
Listen, fam, listen. I'm talking about y'all 8 years. It was shame that y'all 12. That shouldn't be 12, but that's all schedule y'all had.
Okay.
Y'all played a soft USC team who's been in a goddamn stinker for the past goddamn 5 years. Y'all USC not like that. Some Pete Carroll days, Lincoln Riley.
Okay.
Lincoln Riley preaches a culture of softness. He's an offensive guy.
I wonder where you heard that. But go ahead, though.
Let me say this. Roll Tide, motherfucker. We whipping ass. We beat four ranked teams in a row, bro. We kicking ass. Ty Simpson. Bernard, like a young Debo they got. Ryan Williams. Now, I will say this about Alabama now. The defense is a little suspect. It ain't the old defense. But our offense and our coaching for offense, we kicking ass. We ranked teams every week. We whoop them. Understand what I'm saying? Y'all play. Look at y'all schedule. Syracuse. We got that Syracuse. Weak ass Navy. as
how y'all
Pittsburgh.
got smacked around by bum Florida State? I'll wait.
How many games have we won since
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
5
Real
in a row,
quiet.
6 in a
Real
row.
quiet.
We
Real
whooping
quiet.
on. Listen, we whooping on. Notre Dame will be irrelevant. Y'all be irrelevant because they put you on a pedestal. Like I always say, y'all are the Dallas Cowboys of college football.
All right.
It's
Cool.
all glitz and glam, but no goddamn championships.
Right. But you admitted that you didn't say that about Georgia. A matter of fact, let's skip Georgia because they've been winning. You're right. Why don't hear you saying that about Penn State? Go ahead, let me hear that. Why don't I hear you say that about Penn State? No, that's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you what guy you are. I'm asking. Oh, there you are. There you are.
I don't like Notre Dame.
Very good. Very good.
I guarantee that y'all played in the SEC, y'all won't have no motion. Y'all be a 5-loss team a year if y'all played in the SEC, and you know it. And you know this, man.
I know we beat the SEC champion in the college football playoff. Carry on.
And you know what, man?
I know that.
Man. Okay. See, I'm going to get off right now. So CJ Farr is that guy, 15 with 26, 116 yards.
CJ Carr managed the game. Notre Dame ran for 300 plus yards. Why did he need to?
So USC team that's strong as baby cotton, bro.
Okay.
USC looking like the Ravens defense right now, bro.
Okay, I mean,
cool.
cool.
Cotton, bro.
Hey, look. Okay, you got it. Yeah, soft as cotton. Great.
All right, man. I'm gone, man. I'm done. All right.
All right, brother.
All right, bro.
There we go. We got the answer now. We know what it is. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead. Get to this final topic. Carlos, I'm gonna let you run this one more time, man. I love the way you prepare, brother. Let me get this off the screen and switch this over. All right, let's get to the week 9 look ahead, where we kind of talk about the games that we are excited about watching this coming weekend. I got to tell you real quick, for me, man, Notre Dame's not playing. They have a bye, so it's going to be a kind of relaxed weekend, but almost like there's not much to look forward to on a Saturday without my Irish. But that's okay, though, because college football is still great. Carlos, go ahead and run that, man.
For sure. So Friday night, not really much games, not really much ranked matchups. Illinois, Washington. That game's going to be very good. Number 23, Illinois got to go to UW. And I guess we'll see how UW bounces back from that loss to Michigan. So we'll see how that happens. Indiana, UCLA, red hot UCLA taking on Indiana. Very sneaky game, I guess you can say, because UCLA is red hot. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, they are.
Be
careful with them.
Yeah, be careful. Yep.
For sure.
Ole Miss, Oklahoma. Number 8 Ole Miss takes on number 13 Oklahoma. Both one loss teams. So I guess we'll see what happens there. Who can win that one between Ole Miss and Oklahoma, and whoever wins is gonna have a big ranked win in their resume. So
yeah. So can I interrupt you real quick here, Carlos?
Yes.
So what do you think is kind of? I know we're not doing predictions and whatnot, but in a game like Ole Miss, which is elite offensively, versus Oklahoma, which is elite defensively, which do you think kind of – I know Ryan's an offense guy, so he'll probably lean that way, and we'll get his take in a second. But, Carlos, starting with you, man, what do you think kind of takes the day here? The defense that can really get after you, or the offense that, Lane Kiffin does a great job scheming up?
I would usually root for the defense, because defense wins championships. So obviously the defense, can really make an impact – in games, and plus the game's in Oklahoma. So obviously that defense is going to play inspired, obviously. So I would usually go for the defense. Okay.
Ryan, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think all that is spot on. Number one, going to Oklahoma is tough, right? It's going to be loud in there. Defense is going to play inspired, like you said. And Ole Miss is going to have to block out the noise and be able to go in there and execute, because what Lane Kiffin is telling his guys is, hey, we're going to make this away stadium our home. We're going to go in there, we're going to handle our business, and we're going to shut them down, because you take the life out of them at their home. The fans they're not part of the game anymore. Now you're just playing ball and beating them. So it'll be interesting to see. But Oklahoma's going to be ready to go, and Ole Miss is going to have to be on their P's and Q's, because again, it's a big time game that is going to affect both teams. Whatever happens, it's going to affect both teams.
Yeah, Venables is really, really good at calling up that defense and giving pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So also at noon, South Florida, number 18 team in the country, got to take on Memphis, who lost last week to UAB.
Mm,
South Florida has to go to Memphis. So
they're gonna be
that's yeah. So that game's going to be very interesting in the Group of Five for the American Conference. And once again, I I said this earlier that whoever wins the American Conference between South Florida, Memphis, Tulane, Navy is going to be the Group of Five representative for the college football playoffs. So
mhm.
yeah, so definitely that game's going to have some probably CFP implications, Group of Five implications between those two teams. So yeah, so check that out at noon on ESPN2. Let's see here. Kansas State, a rivalry over there in the state of Kansas. That's at noon on TNT. Um, let's see here. Bama got to go to South Carolina. South
Mm-hmm.
Carolina
No,
hasn't been performing, as of late, but you never know. Alabama got to go to South Carolina, so could be a little
yeah.
sneaky game, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Shane
Could be,
Beamer's another guy whose seat is heating up under him.
yeah, yeah, big time. So yeah, yes. So I guess we'll see what happens in that game between Alabama, South Carolina. Top 15 matchup: Missouri, Vanderbilt.
That's the
Vanderbilt,
one.
top 10 team. Man, it's been a while since they were top 10. Like,
Isn't that
damn,
crazy?
like
That's the one though.
who had Vanderbilt as a top 10 team? Like years ago.
Nobody.
Like
Nobody. Nobody.
crazy.
I seriously think I think that Clark Lee's going to be coach of the year. He's
Mm.
got to be coach of the. I mean, obviously, if Vanderbilt finishes out, on a similar trajectory that they're on, I think he's got to be coach of the year, man. For Vandy, an academic school, I can't get over it. To play the way they're playing in the SEC is incredible.
Yeah.
Definitely, most definitely. BYU undefeated 7-0. Got to go to Iowa State. Got to go to Ames. Tricky
Hmm.
game. Can they keep that undefeated streak alive? We'll find out. 3:30
Hmm.
p.m. on Fox. Um, Top 25 implications here. Unranked Minnesota, unranked Iowa. Pretty much whoever wins this game is going to probably be ranked in the top 25. Both teams 5-2. 3:30 live on CBS over there between Minnesota and Iowa in the Big Ten. Let's see. Hmm. Texas got to go to Mississippi State. Texas struggled at Kentucky. Playing in the SEC is very hard. Very hard. Well, like at Kentucky, at Mississippi State, could be wherever, and it's definitely gonna be a fight.
Mm.
That's at 4:15 live on the SEC network. 7:30 matchup on ABC. Texas A&M, the number 3 team in the country, undefeated 7-0. Got to go to LSU.
It's always
LSU,
a tough place to play at night. Death Valley, yeah.
Death Valley for sure. Definitely
Hmm.
a tough place to play at night. Can they keep that undefeated streak up? We'll find
Yup.
out. And
Yup.
I really want to see how LSU is going to bounce back from that Vandy loss. We'll find
Mm-hmm.
out this weekend uh, on Saturday night live from
Mm-hmm.
LSU. Michigan State this weekend. Rivalry game over there in the state of Michigan. Got to go to Michigan State. That game's at 7:30 p.m. on NBC. You never know in a rivalry game. Throw out the
You
records
never do.
and let them play. So
Hmm.
we'll see what happens there.
By the way, quick note,
Yeah.
Carlos. Let me interrupt again, real quick. Sorry.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt and A&M both playing outstanding football. Anybody want to guess what they have in common?
Who A&M and
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
Mm.
Both head coaches, former Notre Dame defensive coordinators.
Ooh,
Just a thought.
ooh,
Go Irish.
ooh. Interesting. Okay.
Thought.
What a plug. What a plug.
Good pointer, Bruce. Good pointer. Good pointer.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Tennessee got to go to Kentucky. Can Kentucky, make the game rough for Tennessee? That's at 7:45 p.m. on the
Mark
SEC.
Stoops, another guy who could get fired here.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're 2-4 right now. They're
Yeah.
they're not doing so well.
No.
Arizona State, they're at home, number 24 team in the country. Can they back up that ranking as they take on 6-1 Houston? As they take on 6-1 Houston, only loss was to Texas Tech. So we'll see what happens with Houston at 8 o'clock on ESPN2, and then the nightcap, Colorado, 3-4 taking on Utah in the Rumble of the Rocky Mountains.
Mm.
Rivalry game there between Colorado and Utah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so a little bit of a rivalry game between Colorado and Utah. And then one more game that I think is flying under the radar. Nobody's talking about it, but it's a huge rivalry in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to guess what that is, Bruce?
Huge rivalry in college football. Nobody's talking about. Trying to think what rivalries have been played. What's the conference?
It's actually not. It's actually in the FCS.
Okay.
So right now in the polls, it's number 1 against number 2 in the FCS poll.
Oh, who's that? North
North
Dakota.
Dakota and South Dakota State.
Yup.
It's
This weekend is the Dakota Marker game. Number 1 against number 2. Both teams 7-0 this weekend. They're playing this weekend, 8 p.m. live on ESPNU. So if you want to check that out,
I might actually have to do it. They might have some guys that can sneak into the NBA somewhere. The NBA, the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. North Dakota State, they're number 1. South Dakota State, number 2. Hey man, Dakota Marker game. We'll see in the FCS. But those are all the games for college football.
No doubt. Ryan, you got anything there? Which one of those you looking forward to the most?
I mean, obviously Illinois. Illinois, Alabama game. Both of those are important. Illinois has got to win. I'm hoping we can make a push for the playoffs. It's gonna be tough, but we got to win, and then
it can happen with 2 losses still.
Yeah, again, everything else got to happen from above.
Yeah,
right. Alabama needs to handle business. This is kind of that time when you catch a loss here, and those things can really affect you, and you're trying to send persuasive messages to get into the playoffs at the end. So go in and handle business. Ole Miss, Oklahoma, excited about that one. LSU game, excited about that one. So yeah, it should be good. Good weekend.
No doubt. All right, there we go. All right, guys, we are going to leave it right there. Carlos, tell the people where they can find you, man.
You can find me at TheEnforcer33 on my Instagram, and also follow our podcast page at Be Ready Sports Podcast. Be Ready Sports Podcast on Instagram.
No doubt. And of course, we got Ryan here. You can find him right back here next week. So, there we go. Thanks so much for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate it. Great college football talk this evening. And if you're an NBA fan, the NBA is back on NBC for the first time in 20-something years now, and it was beautiful to hear that theme song again. Beautiful to see the package they put together at the beginning. Pause with Michael Jordan and Patrick Ewing and Magic Johnson and the old school guys, and then the new school guys too. It was lovely, man. So I think they're going to do a great job throughout the season and the oncoming seasons in bridging the older guys like me who see the 90s and the 80s as the golden age, and the younger fans like Carlos who see the modern game. It's going to be real good how they bring it together. So enjoy that if you're a basketball fan, and we are out. Peace.
All right.